Hello and welcome to the Super Professor Podcast. You're listening to Clemens Kunkel, aka Super Professor, and today we're going to talk about climate change. Now, I understand there's some people have a little bit of confusion trying to understand what that means. And it's kind of changed a little bit from the old days. In the old days, climate change actually was Mother Nature. But not anymore. It's kind of sad, but we are really messing up our planet. And to explain that very simply is, anybody remember the 1930 Dust Bowl that we caused, humans, in the United States? 1930 Dust Bowl was caused by man, overtilling the land, farmland. That was during the industrial age when it started. And, we had tractors and everything. We tilled up the plains, and we actually tilled the wrong direction, which allowed the wind to tear through the fields that we plowed and pick up the dirt. The problem was we did not know that we were doing it, and it destroyed 60,000 acres. People lost their homes. People died. Animals died, plants, totally destroyed 60,000 acres. That's a lot of land. I think it went into 4 different states. So Google that, watch some videos. You will be shocked on what we did. People had to wear masks to breathe, just like China is doing right now. And China is trying to play catch up on climate change. That's what President Obama put in place, was the Paris Climate Change Act. A lot of people working around the world to save the planet. Now, climate change also, instead of saying climate change, we have to change the word to man-made climate change. So people understand when we say climate change, it's not Mother Nature, it's man. Man-made climate change is humans living on Earth, destroying the planet. We're heating the planet up, and the simplest way to explain climate change is take a tree. We're going to do something simple. You take a large tree in your backyard. Now you look at that tree, that sunlight hits it. Now that sun is being absorbed by the tree. It's absorbing through photosynthesis. It's absorbing the heat and converting it. Now, when you cut that tree down, you've put massive things into play. A couple things would be you no longer have that sunlight hitting the tree, so now it hits the pavement. If you put asphalt down, it's hitting pavement. So just to do a simple analogy of, let's say a tree covers 20 feet around, okay? When you have the sun that used to hit the tree, but now it hits its 20-foot area, it heats up that area. It's not a problem if you have grass and plants growing, but if you put asphalt, pavers, stone, that 20-foot radius is going to heat up. And that is going to transfer into our planet. Now you're saying, oh, it's just one tree. Yes, I know it's just one tree, but we're going to go further than just the sunlight. When it rains, that sun would catch some of the rain and slow the rain from reaching the ground. It absorbed some of it. It also let it slow down. It also kept the rain from tearing up the ground a little bit more. It delayed time of it getting down there. Now, the tree also absorbed moisture from the ground. Now, doing that, it took the moisture, but trees also give off moisture. Very few people know that the trees also give off moisture. It could be a couple gallons of water a day that it's getting rid of. And different trees do different amounts. So when you talk about the rainforest, it's actually all of them trees are giving off a lot of moisture. They're pulling a lot of moisture out of the ground and then throwing it into the air. All right. Now, the other thing is that when you have a tree and the sunlight hits the tree, it's absorbing the sunlight, but that tree is throwing a shadow on the ground, and that shadow moves, which cools the area. All right. So now you have 2 different effects. You have sunlight, you have cooling. Then when the wind blows through the trees, but the trees are actually like a gigantic filter. The dust and everything, they're being blown and pollen and everything floating around. Yes, trees give off pollen, but they also catch it. So the tree is a filter. Certain trees catch more than they give off. And then when it rains, it washes the leaves, and now it's able to collect more sunlight. What happens when you cut that tree and the ground heats up? But when you put asphalt, you no longer are allowing water to go into the ground. So you cause the cause and effect. You cut the tree down, now you put asphalt or you put pavers. Instead of it absorbing sunlight, instead of it allowing it to go into change into photosynthesis, is now being absorbed into the planet. But then when it rains, that also is causing flooding. The water's got to go someplace else. It's no longer being slowed down. It's being redirected and going to culverts and rivers. So you have more flooding in the area. And then when you cut the tree down, well, there's another effect. There used to be life in the tree. There used to be squirrels or birds, place to live, insects. We do one thing, there is an effect for everything that we do. Yes, we still have to, live and get things going, but we have to be a little bit more observant by what we do. We have to pay a little bit more attention. The wind now has no restriction. It blows and it's just a flat plane, so it picks up more dirt, more wind. So, we cause a lot of effects. Now, so let's say you cut down 50 trees and you build a house or a complex. Well, now you just got rid of oxygen. That tree gives off oxygen. Well, now you're cutting oxygen off into the air. So we are changing the planet drastically on a small level, but over a period of time. And it affects an area differently. Right now, we have the Great Barrier Reef dying and bleaching from 1 degree rise in ocean sea level temperature. Now, people don't understand that we need the ocean. We need the Barrier Reef. It's something we got to worry about. But we also got to worry about our planet. Think about the cars. You take one car, it's going 60 miles an hour. That causes a current. That causes a drag. It pulls things along. But when you add another car, and like let's take Interstate 80, it goes from goes across the United States. You've got cars going 60 miles an hour. You're causing a current. You are actually interfering with Mother Nature. We're causing different currents because of the way we drive, what we do. Yes, we still need to be able to drive. Yes, we still need to be able to get around. But we need to put up different barriers. We need to design ourselves a little bit different. That's what climate change is, man-made climate change. So when someone says climate change, understand what we're talking about. It's man-made climate change, what we as a species is doing. That one tree, think of all the houses in the world. How many trees are no longer there? Think about all the land that have driveways. Just wherever you are right now, go outside and look and go, when you see asphalt, go, there used to be a tree there. There used to be grass. That used to be a bush. Or it was dirt or something growing. That's what you have to understand is don't think that we are not causing climate change and that Mother Nature can fix us every time. It can't. The planet will always be here. We just won't. That's what you got to understand is we got to work with Mother Nature. And if we see a problem, we got to fix it. Right now, there is a problem. The planet is heating up. People do not understand that because they do not understand climate change, man-made climate change. We're at 400 parts per million carbon dioxide, and it's getting worse. And that's what the Paris Climate Change Act was, to try to slow it down to keep that from going higher and higher. We were leveling off, but now with Trump getting rid of the EPA and because he doesn't think it's real, that's going to get scary, scary, scary. We've got to save the planet. We cannot ignore what is happening. You have to understand and look at so many different things. I'll give you a quick example. Last year, last year was the warmest on record. The warmest one before that was the year before. The one before that was the year before. 3 years in a row, warmest on record. We're talking about globally, not town, not country. Globally. Globally, warmest on record. And this year, we're heading back to the warmest. We're going to beat the records again. But here's the problem. People think that's climate change. No. Climate change is Mother Nature. What we're talking about is man-made climate change. How do we know that it's not Mother Nature? That's easy. The sun is in a low cycle. That means that the sun has very few sunspots, and it's very nice and pretty, just like a beautiful orange right now. And it's been doing that. It's been cooling off, and we are almost at the part where it's going to start turning and go the other direction. We should never been warming up. We should have been cooling off, and that is what we're saying about climate change. Man-made climate change is the reason we're getting hotter. If it was Mother Nature, we'd be cooler. So the danger is when the sun goes back to being warmer again, like it goes an 11-year swing, when it goes back the other direction, it's really going to get hot here on Earth. And if we don't correct things really soon, it's really going to get hot. Sea levels are already rising. The sea levels is, I don't know how many people know, but in the last 100 years, we've been keeping track of sea level rises and everything. It's risen 7 inches. But 3 of those 7 inches happened in the last 10 years. You understand the difference there? 100 years was only 7 inches. Last 10 years, we did 3 of them. That is not a good sign. And that is average. Some areas are 13-inch sea level rise and 19 inches sea level rise. So when someone says an average, understand it's an average for the world. Same thing as saying that the world is hot. Well, yeah, but it's cold in my country. Yeah, because the climate's changing. But we talk about globally, worldwide, not just one area. We have so many instruments in the ocean. We have so many instruments in space. When scientists talk about climate change, you should really listen to them. 99% or 96% of the scientists say man-made climate change is real. That's what we're talking about, man-made. And if you don't think it's real, then you're going to have to explain to me what happens when the sunlight hits asphalt. If you're going to say, I don't know, then you're not a scientist. If you're going to say it gets cold, then you're still not a scientist. Black absorbs heat. So when you talk to someone with science, understand they know a lot. Listen to them. Learn from them. Don't listen to Trump. Trump doesn't know anything. He's removed the EPA. You go to the website. EPA came around in Nixon's day. He came up with the EPA. Environmental Protection Agency, something like 12,000 people work there. So listen to people that are scientists, understand what's going on, understand that we need to protect the planet. We need to take care of it. We do need changes. We need solar panels. Every time we put solar panels up, it's like a tree. It's absorbing the heat and it's converting it to energy. It's changing it. So the solar panels help lower the temperature. You got to understand, every time we need to go green. The polar ice caps melting are causing more methane plumes to go into the air, which is another problem that scientists didn't know that there was that much methane in the polar ice caps. They knew it was there, but they didn't know it was that much, which now we oh man, there's a lot more than what we counted on. So study a little bit about climate change, understand how dangerous it is right now. And with Trump getting rid of the EPA, he's getting rid of knowledge for the children and for the future. So anybody out there that has knowledge on climate change, share your knowledge, speak out, go to talks, teach children. Because this is our planet. I'm not worried about me. I've lived my life. My children and my grandchildren are the ones I worry about. So, pay attention to what's going on and what's happening. And like I said, just walk outside, look around, and look at the houses, look at the trees, Look at the asphalt. Look at the concrete. Understand what we've done to the planet. Understand, every time there's concrete, we destroyed life. Every time there's a house, we destroyed something. We causing more heat. We causing wind to not have a restriction. We're removing filter. We're causing more dust. We're causing more pollen. We're changing the environment globally. Now, when we had the 1930 Dust Bowl, that dust went, oh my goodness, went everywhere. So that's what you got to understand is just when we affect a big area, it goes around the planet. The ocean, it has a gigantic current called the Great Conveyor. The Great Conveyor takes 500 years for it to rotate around the entire planet. It's a very slow-moving cold water that goes down. It's called the Great Conveyor. People don't understand. Once we get past the tipping point, we're not going to be able to get back for a very long time. That's what the scary part is. That's the reason scientists are scared. If we go too far past, it's going to take too long to correct. Mother Nature will swing back, but it's going to take a while. We don't want to go to that point. We want to stop it. That's the reason the Paris Climate Change Act is very, very important. We do not want to get out of that. We want to go green. We're supposed to be going green in 50 years, reinventing fire, RMI. So speak out, stand up, understand climate change, and learn more if you don't know anything about climate change. All right, this is Clemens Kunkel, a.k.a. Super Professor, and today I hope I helped you understand a little bit more about climate change. I'll do another one, and you'll have more information for you. So, check out my, I got 2 books, Keys to Unlocking the Universe, New Theories on the Universe, Not One Big Bang, but 2, Emerging of 2 Universes, created the one universe that you see today. I have 42 empirical evidence that shows that. I have a self-help book coming out, Dream Your Dreams. I have self-help CDs, Dream Your Dream. I have a children's book, Mystical Truth Tells, and there you go. I hope you check me out. I hope you like the podcast, and share. Have a good one, be safe, and study.